Aha. Sunburn, hyper random. Oh, we're starting out strong. We're starting out fun. Oh, let me pause this. All right, getting ready. Ban immersion. I'm assuming we're gonna actually see shoals get banned. I wouldn't be surprised if both waters get banned. That is interesting. Oh no, nope. Wants the water map. Maybe we'll see Italians after all on water. Give me Acre. Give me Acre. I do like the Acre maps. Getting unique units pretty much even on sides that are okay, outcrop. I'm okay with outcrop. I like Acre only because it makes like show tools be viable in a way. Like it just is like you have a better reason to use. I don't like aftermath. I don't like the resource trickle. Um, okay, there's that. Right. It just is like a lot of if you have the two castles up right at the start, it kind of opens up the door to be like, hey, just make your unique unit. The better you are at RM, the more you try to avoid water maps. Yeah, that's true. And runestones. I mean, yeah, you can't go wrong with a runestone start. I do agree. I'd always be opinion of either runes like Arabia slash runestones as map one or hyper random as map one. Just one of those two. So I know a lot of RM tournaments have Arabia as map one always. Um, cool. We can duplicate this. Go back to this. Watch live. Is that a lot? Are they just not a lot of admin bans for the lower divs? Because I know there's more admin bans for the other games. I think, right? Way less admin bananas. Yeah, that makes sense. Because it is at lower levels we're a little bit more one trick ponying. Yeah, that's fair. No, the admins and their bananas, they cause problems. That's for sure. Bot is being used as John Perkins Brogbot. Uses Spec Dashboard API. Okay. If you have a link to that, I'd love to take a look at it, and just see if it sparks something of some sort of project for me to work on or something down the road. Of course, it'll be after February, but if you have a GitHub or something or Huns, Celts, Berbers, yeah, Bengalis, all of these picks make sense. I mean, Berbers is arguably looks like the best uh Civ in all of DM right now, according to the stats. We got the Mongols, Jurchens, Celts, Bengalis. What are some of the other top civs? I don't think Spanish were. Saracens. I don't know if Saracens are really popular in the lower levels because market abuse is so much more difficult to pull off, I feel like, at the lower levels. So, and unless like Saracens in general are just a good civ neutrally, right? Like ignoring the market abuse. Ethiopians. I mean, we were saying what Nope is a big Archer fan. No, Stray King is so Stray King banning the his one of the best Archer civs, right? Oh right, Saracens have Mamluks. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And so civs in general are not as popular in the lower divs. I mean, it's really hard to control SO. You look away for 1 second, your entire army's dead because a single Hussar ran in, and you weren't there to attack ground. So it's like yes, SOs can get a lot of value, but if you don't have the micro and like attention to be able to control them, you're best off not really trying to use them too much. So that makes sense to me. That lower levels, like I don't like using SOs, especially not at the level like in DM you need a bunch of SOs. Turks, Britons, Burmese, Malians. I guess there's not really any in like besides Saracens. There wasn't any crazy top tier civ that I feel like they'd go for. So I guess that makes sense, right? Kind of pick your favorites. Britain's is definitely an interesting one. There's no Fez, so it's no, that's not the right. We want that. So it's not a super far one, which I feel like is where Britain's might shine a little bit. Goths, an early, your first pick Goths. That's crazy. Banned Britain's for the rest of the tournament because of him. Oh, his Britain's deadly. That's exciting. Okay, so we'll see that. And I mean, Britain's at a low level. Trying to fight against Britain's, if you're not great about dealing with longbows, can be incredibly tough, right? That feels like it makes sense because it's one of those where it's like, in order to beat Britons, you have to play a very specific way that's not entirely normal, which is like using siege rams or like rams as part of your meat shield, and that's very kind of weird to do. This is very interesting. I feel like Nope's doing a much more standard draft, and Stray King has kind of a few like not gimmick picks, but definitely a few interesting ones. Actually, stay away for this. This is gonna be an awesome set with these 5 civs. Yeah, this is definitely looking spicy. There's the Saracens. This is looking spicy. And woo. I mean, woo have a decent win rate, I guess. I don't know anything they do. I'll have to do a little bit of studying real quick. I still don't really understand how fire lancers work. I need to do a little bit of investigation in the game itself. There's the Italians. Whoever made the call that Stray King liked Italians, Hindus, and what's the last one? Nope, about to show us. Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's always one civ that doesn't get picked. Now, who do you think Nope's going to ban? I could see Britons or Turks. There's no shoal. There's no immersion, so you don't have the can galleon cheese, right? They all have hand cannons. That's hilarious. I mean, hey, the man knows what he likes. And Gujaras. All right, so what are the snipes? I'm expecting Britons to get sniped. No, snipe the Turks and the Saracens. Saracens make sense. Turks also make sense, I guess. All right. Exciting. We want Stray. Stray. All right, we'll keep an eye on the lobbies and stuff. So this is interesting. So okay, so let's just start off with we're talking about runestones, right? So the most generic Arabia Civ, or we can work our way backwards, right? Because you don't really know what you want to do. You want to work on the ones that are there. So like Sunburn, we want aggression. Shoals, we have a water map. So let's look at the water map first, right? I can just pull this over actually. Just have that open. So like as far as a water civ goes, Malians have decent water. Um, Portuguese and Italians have good water, right? I mean, how good are the Portuguese in this? 7-4, okay, not terrible. So, I could see either of those. And then Outcrop, Sunburn. Who should be the water civ, probably? Are they a water civ? Yeah, naval, they get the earlier stuff, which doesn't really matter. Extra food, which, I mean, I guess helps. Not really important. Demo ships deal extra damage. That's really nice, yeah. So I can see Wu being the water ship. Or the water map. Malian Goths probably is a Sunburn pick. That would make sense, yeah. Two very fast civs. Um, oh, we probably want to get out of this game so it doesn't cause problems with when I try to load into it. That's not what I wanted. I want this. So then water. Yeah, I mean one of those two is gonna be water. Hyper random. You probably want a pretty generic like Magars. I saw Boomstick use earlier. I don't think Britons would be a good hyper random civ. I could see the Hindustanis there, maybe the Koreans. You haven't seen King go water before? Yeah, I mean, he's got some pretty solid options, right? He has his water bases covered, so it's not like Woo, which is like almost assuredly just the water sieve. Is King's in-game name Stray King as well, or something? Like, I'm not seeing any lobbies or anything like that, so assuming they're probably still setting it up, but Deathmatch, Mitchy DM, no noob, classic. So I'm guessing they're still setting it up. Same name, no lobby yet. Gotcha. King Troll Shoals versus you, and maybe Immersion another set. Don't recall. That's fair. We can check actually, right? Division 10. Oh, flashbang. Freezerland versus the Stray King. There we are. Aftermath, Sunburn, Shoals, Byzantines on Shoals. Britons on Runestones. So we might actually see Britons on Runestones, right? Like we can do a little bit of study. We can do a little bit of Byzantines. Where's another Stray King? Stray King here. Britons on Runestones. All right, I'm expecting Britons on Runestones. I guess that's just the kind of like the most obvious one, right? So Britons on Runestones is gonna be my guess, and then as far as Nope, what has Nope's civs been? Nope on Runestones Bulgarians. Nope Bulgarians. And where's Nope's here? Magyars. So we're probably gonna see Magyars because Bulgarians got banned, right? He just didn't pick the Bulgarians. Okay. Which I mean maybe he didn't want to, but alright, lobby is up. Excellent. So we're just waiting on that. Yeah, so I'm expecting Britons just because it feels like Stray King is gonna get that, and also I feel like Runestones, since it's the Arabia, you always want to use your like most comfortable civ there. I feel like that's the most like classic like Arabia RM and stuff where it's like when it comes down to it, when you're gonna test how good someone is at the game, you're gonna test them on Arabia, right? So winning the Arabia game is a pretty big motivation giver, right? Britons versus Teutons. I'm expecting Magyars, just because we've seen purely because Nope has used Magyars before. So see what other, but that's also King will clump up with Britons. Nope should probably go Magyars, maybe Gujaras punish. Yeah. Yeah, it is one of those things where you probably, especially at lower levels, you could probably scout a little bit. I don't know how often people are scouting in this, which I don't think there's really much of a point, but there probably is some information to be gained by scouting some stuff. For example, like here, if Runestones is one of the map, Stray King's probably going to go Britons, so probably want to keep that in mind. Like hyper random Nope, like Bohemians, uh, Huns. Yeah, I don't think there's too much to really gain from this information because it's such a small sample size, but it definitely is at least something, right? Any amount of information is more information than nothing. I'm just excited for the hyper random match. I hope it's a spicy map. I hope it's spicy but not stupid. Is how I put it. We also had a really fun hyper random map yesterday where the both players started with a demo boat, I think, that had monk abilities, which was wild. They even got like I think the boat got one conversion on a pike on a halberdier, and then got destroyed. But it was just like I heard a monk sound. I was like, "Where is that coming from?" When we saw the halberdier get converted, I was like, well, "What the hell?" I think it was. I don't know if it was a demo, but it was definitely a ship that had monk powers, and I was like, "That could be wild." Honestly, I just realized he should have kept that alive and try to use it to go convert docks. assuming that the Civ he had does every Civ get the tech that I'm thinking of? What Civ is it? Redemption. No, not every Civ gets redemption, because that's what requires to, yeah. Okay, yeah. Only something. Oh, that's so nice that they have the advanced stats there. That's really helpful now that I know about that. That's crazy. River Pros in the latest Masters of Hyper Random final got that monk boat. It's crazy. It would be really cool if they could make like heroes get random abilities too. Like if they could randomize even that besides just having random heroes. So, anyways, looks like the game has started. All right, it is Magyar's Hindustanis. We're not gonna see the Britons. That's spicy. I'm striking may have actually like counters. That might be a sneaky little thing he did where he was like, I expect Nope to expect me to go Britons. So he went Hindustanis to counter the counter. Five head play, absolutely. Like, I mean, again, that's where like scouting can be too like. Sometimes it's the smooth brain where it's like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. How can my opponent know what I'm gonna do if I don't know what I'm gonna do? But there is like, oh, you can make some plays like that. So that's a nice little thing. So this is definitely an advantage for Stray King, I assume, right? Like this has to be camels versus Magars, which is, I mean, Magars do get the really nice cav archers, so that's something. What is the Hindustani's unique unit? Hindustanis, they get the Gulam and Camel Riders, right? Yeah. Where is Castle? Gulam is like anti-archer, right? Archer units, weak versus cavalry. So not very useful there. And then they do get Imp Camel. That's huge. That's going to be real rough for the Magars. Do they get a heavy camel? Do they get camel archer or cav archers? They do get cav archers. I don't know how good their cav archers are. Blacksmith is not all the way here. So they have a full blacksmith. So interesting, yeah. All right, so that's going up. Capture age. What's up, Lunatic? I'm doing a little bit of Age of Empires casting. Got dragged into it again, and we got another one. All right, looks like it's working. So we got a Div 10 game coming to you today. In the blue, we have Nope playing the Magyars, and in the south, the Stray King playing the Hindustanis. These games are important. Apparently, it can help decide playoffs if Stray King wins. I believe, or no, if Nope gets 3 points, which is 2 wins, at least 3 wins. I mean, Stray King needs, or Nope needs 3 wins to be able to, I think, take over or get into playoffs. So we see the scout coming in early. Both players trying to get a rush. Okay, Stray King does find a kill. And no kill found for Nope. So Stray King winning that. Actually has 2 kills from that. So very nice strong start from the Stray King. That's going to set him back a little bit for Nope. So we'll see what the plan is. So we see Halberdiers immediately out of the way. And we see some archer ranges coming up next for Magars. And then it's probably just going to be some camels and some cav archers. Oh no, hand cannoneers. There's the gunpowder. Stray King loves his gun units. He's a gun nut. So, start a little slower than you'd see it at the higher divisions. We already see a TC coming out for Nope, thinking about the economy. And, I mean, Runestone's pretty standard affair all over the place. You see Stray King actually sending one camel forward to try to, get a grasp on what's happening out there. We see a castle going up. A bunch of villagers already making it. But so far, Stray King's happy to just kind of sit back and take advantage of that economic advantage he had with getting 2 early eco kills. We'll see the composition from Nope, which is Halberdiers, Cav Archers. Kind of expected, I think. And I assume we won't be seeing too many Camel Riders right now. Cav Archers? Yeah. I don't think Camel's guns should be quite as efficient, I guess. Just because, like, I don't know. It's a little bit less. I don't know. It'll be interesting. We'll see how it goes. Some TCs are up earlier for Nope. So Nope is gonna try to come back from that 2 villager deficit and really start pumping out some villagers and get that economic backbone. But a couple Hussars taking a little bit of pokes. And the Camel Rider's going to try to engage on those Cav Archers, but no, they're going to fall back. Wait for the halves to come and give them the support. There's a nice hill here that the Gunpowder can sit on. Takes out a nice little quick Cav Archer. We're seeing some Hussars being mixed in. There's the first Bombard Cannon. And, I mean, there's going to be an interesting one. Those Gunners being caught out a little bit unaware. Gonna be some nice engagements there from Nope. Even with the hill, I think the Gunners aren't quite as good into the mass of Cav Archers. So, but Nope has his rally point pretty far forward for the Cav Archers. Might want to adjust that in case they get caught out. They run past and get caught out, so... Both sides happy to just kind of build up a little bit, maybe poke themselves, and I mean, now we're going to see an engagement. Camels trying to push in, and because of how the Cav Archers were positioned, we find a lot of nice kills since it was only a handful of Cav Archers that were getting drawn by that aggro of the Gunners. So nice little engagement there from Stray King. And now we see a few other castles on a hill. Very nice. Castling the middle hills. We love to see it. Ooh, maybe one on this hill as well to secure the middle as well. But Bombard Cannon's going to range these forward siege workshops. And the Gunpowder is just going to kind of take some pot shots here and there with the Bombard Cannon support. I mean, it's pretty even, everything said and done. It's really going to be a who gets a better engagement here. It's going to be a fight. The Camels are going to get onto those Cav Archers, but the Pokeboys are going to be there. And, I mean, there's going to be a lot of Camels lost, but that's also going to, the Gunpowder is wrecking the Halberdiers. And, I mean, I think, oh, that's a bit too aggressive with the Camels, and all the Camels are going to fall, and it's going to be Gunpowder versus Cav Archers. I think what Stray King needed to do there was pull the Camels back and let the Gunpowder get a little bit more shots off on those Halberdiers. So now it's just going to be range units versus range units, but with the Bombard Cannons helping out with this, I think the firing line is going to win against the Cav Archers, who are just slowly whittling away. You can see Stray King's army count is now double. The Treb's trying to get some little micros in here, but I mean, it's kind of easier to micro the Bombard Cannons than it is the Trebs. So now the Gunpowder units massively outnumbering the Cav Archers. The Cav Archers are forced to retreat, and these Gunpowders are going to be able to snipe these Trebs. That's going to be a very expensive unit lost. And Stray is going to continue going forward, bring out the Hussars, and start mixing them in instead of the Camels. And these Bomber Cannons are going to start getting some really nice damage here. We actually do see... Oh! Surprise Onager comes out. Takes some shots. Takes out one of the Bombard Cannons. But I mean... Stray King is getting a lot of damage here. We'll see if he can actually take out some of these production buildings. But the castle helping out with this fight, and we need to see Stray King pull his units away. He needs to make sure not to lose anything to too much siege. I'd love to see the Bomber Cannons take out these siege workshops just so no more Onagers can come out unaware. Yeah, Onagers, oh, good shots landing the trebuchets onto the Bombard Cannons. But now all the Cav Archers are gone, and oh, Stray King has such a massive military lead. He's going to be able to push forward. Bomber Cannons need to start destroying some of these buildings instead of worrying about the units. Really needs to take out that castle. That castle's getting so many kills. Castle has 11 kills, 12 kills. Now the Bomber Cannons are kind of free to rain down bullets or cannonballs onto this castle. Villagers coming over to repair, but I don't think that's enough villagers to repair this many Bomber Cannons. Cav Archers have massed up their numbers. They're going to try to engage here. Magyar Hussars are going to come over here and snipe some of the Bomber Cannons. There's no meat shield here to protect the Bomber Cannons. Castle does go down, but it is at the cost of all the Bombard Cannons. So the push is going to slow down quite a bit, but this does mean the front of the base is incredibly wide open for Stray King to push in. If Stray King continues to push forward here, he's going to have a very good time. You can see actually Nope has a pretty solid eco behind this. None on food. So can't really produce all the meat shields that he wants. Still has 8k in the bank. So would love to see some more Halberdiers, see some more Hussars, maybe some more Magyar Hussars. But right now, Nope committing entirely to the Cav Archers, which are starting to mass up again. And trying to build his castle. I don't know if that's going to work with the Magyar Hussars come storming in and no quick walls to try to protect against it. And they're just going to run away knowing that the castle is going to chase them away and they'll have another chance to go in. Some Trebs are going to come out and some Camels are trying to be a meat shield. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a question of can these Cav Archers find the kills they need, but this is a dangerous ball of gunners. Camel's going to do some pretty good damage here. TC does go down. I mean, it's not the biggest thing to lose, but it does mean that you don't have access to that stone. It's a little bit of a less open area for Stray King to push into, and this castle is going to go up, and that's going to be a very nice staging point for Stray King's push. And if Stray King can continue to build an eco behind this, I mean, Nope has a lot of idle TC time right now, so not worrying about the eco. It is at 84 villagers, so could expand their eco a little bit more, has a lot on gold to try to keep making these gold units. But needs to rebuild some of his production, needs to rebuild some castles, protect his backlines, and now the Hussars are going to go in for some raids. These exposed villagers, only one castle protecting them, all of them clustered around this gold that has none left. Nope is going to be just losing a lot of villagers left and right. The kill count's going to be massive. Finding some Treb kills as well. The Treb's going to start ranging to these side castles, and his entire front of his base is just going to get melted. But here's the Cav Archers, and they still have a lot of Cav Archers. 30 Cav Archers are still a very deadly number. Military is in the favor of Stray King, and with those raids, killing all those villagers, Stray King has pretty much evened up the eco count now. So got to see if Stray King can carry this through, either win now or get into such a dominating position that the mid-game really does become unwinnable for Nope. And taking out these houses is a nice way. Keep your opponents having to rebuild the houses. 2 Trebs do go down for Nope. And yeah, pulling them back and more. So Nope expanding on the side. And we actually do see a bunch of Hussar raids. I've missed this. So Nope trying to spread out the attention, try to draw the attention away from the front lines, and there are going to be a lot of dead villagers. And Stray King needs to keep making villagers, make this not be too big of an issue. And this distraction has been very good, and now Nope's Cav Archers can engage onto the gun line. I mean, there's a lot of gunners there, and the castle is defending against both bomber cannons, some more gunners, the Trebs, and no hill bonus. But, I mean, I think there's still more gunners than there are Cav Archers, so the gunners are going to win this. And, yeah, that castle's going to go down. So even with the nice raids and the distraction, getting a bunch of kills here, Stray King continues his push in the middle. And now reinforcing with some Imperial Camels, those Magyar Hussars aren't going to be able to really get much done. And Nope's down to 9 military. Popcat at 100 cat population. That is not a sign of a good time. And I think Stray King can pretty easily call it here. Some solid raids by Nope. Had definitely got some action in there. But the early fights from Stray King were just too good. Clearing up those Cav Archers with the gunpowder, with the Cannoneers. And just not ever reinforcing or recreating the meat shields that he needed to engage on the opponents. So resigning with all that res, yeah, it's one of those things though. It's like, sure, you have all that res, but at this level, if you know you're not going to be able to efficiently use it, and like you're down 6 military, right? You have no military. How many productions buildings you got? You got 5 barracks. You got a castle. You got 4 stables, right? Like, let's say everything makes in 2 seconds or something. That's going to be 10 units every couple seconds, every like 10 seconds or so. You're not, it's going to be hard to come back from that, right? You have the 3 stables over here, I guess, but. So really well done from Stray King, taking an early advantage and continue to push the issue and not give Nope any chance to kind of rest. And Stray King really doing well here. So well done from Stray King. Actually, let's first go and give that game to Stray King. Main map. Go. All right. So, Runestones is done. Next game is going to be Shoals for Nope. So it's going to be the water map. Nope unhappy with how the ground game went there and wants to force the issue and see how it feels when there is water involved. So we had the Magyar is dead. And I mean, again, Stray King definitely had the advantage there with a kind of, not necessarily a Civ win, but a Civ advantage for sure. Where King kind of mind gamed him into thinking that it was going to be Britons. But turns out it was the Hindustanis and the camels into the Magyars with the gunpowder. Very hard to deal with. All right, so we're just waiting for them to start the next match. Drink a little bit of water, have a little bit of tea. Yeah, so as far as water, I think we kind of established it's probably going to be the Woo. I don't think you pick the Woo. Like, there's other water options you have, but you're not picking the Woo without kind of committing to using them on the water map. I can see Italians or Portuguese. I guess you probably want to save the Koreans for a more non-pure water map, because they're better on land than I think the Portuguese or Italians are. So I can see Portuguese. What is a Portuguese naval bonus, right? They have something. I remember them being good. Fetorio's ships extra HP. That's what it is. Do they have? Where is their dock? Dock. Dock here. Demo ships because they do have heavy demos. And the other option was Italians, which also get demos. They only get demo ships, not heavy demos though. So that could be a deciding factor. Also, I feel like I think Brizlin was saying they do enjoy, or Stray King does like Italians for something else, like on a non-water map. So I could see it being the Portuguese with the extra HP, full dock tree, and Carrick. Right, they have Carrick as well. So that could be really nice. And, gunpowder units fire it more accurately. It's pretty solid. I mean, I don't think Portuguese are very common in the analysis. But like they are kind of a classic solid water civ. So you definitely could see that being the play. Don't either of them get treadmill terrain. Oh, true. I always forget to check treadmill crane. No, Portuguese do get it. Portuguese do. And the other is Italians, who also get it. So they both get it. So I always forget treadmill crane. I always forget just how vital it is because I'm more of an RMer at heart. At least I used to be an RMer when I played, and it's just wild that that's so important. And then there's civs that are just like so good without it, like Slavs and Mongols, Persians. Uh, Jerkins have it. Do Saracens have it? Yeah. I remember when Franks lost treadmill crane. I remember that being like everyone's like, "Why do Franks need treadmill crane?" And the DMs were like, "No, not the Franks." All right, looks like they're starting, so it's gonna be Shoals. All right, it is Wu versus Koreans. He is going the Koreans on the water. He wants the Portuguese and the Italians for something else. Interesting. That's a little shocking. I feel like Koreans are just so good at normal gameplay that you wouldn't want to waste them on a water map when your other civs might be more perfect for water, right? Koreans don't have demos, that's right. Yeah, that's the craziest thing, right? Like, on RM, they do fine. Like, they do have the turtle ships, so, like, they get turtle ships, right? Like, that's dope. But it's always dangerous, right? So, we'll see how this turns out. You got 15 seconds to see. I should also do predictions at some point, but oh well. All right, swap into the scene. All right, taking game number one. Playing the Koreans in the yellow is once again Stray King. In the blue, playing the Woo is Nope. So yeah, I mean, water maps are interesting. We'll see how fast either of them dock. We see immediate docks out of Nope and immediate docks out of Stray King. So, it'll be interesting to see what the game plan is from Stray King with no demos. We'll see. I mean, the distracting might even get a kill here. Kills the Dockville. That is huge. And the immediate another Ville comes out to come finish the dock, but that does buy even a couple seconds on water control is huge. And we see halberdiers coming out for the Koreans, but cav archers are going to be masked up a bit for Nope. So the halberdiers might not be doing great here. We have fast fires. So they're going to be coming out here, and it's going to be fire battle. So no demos involved. I mean, do the Woo get, can I see if the Woo get docks? Naval, they get demos, yeah. But it's going to be fast fire wars. So neither player really want to commit to dock or demo micro. And Pike's doing some good damage here. Kills the villagers, so the only 2 docks are up. So looks like Stray King's going to have a pretty solid time here, maintaining, getting a good start on the water control. Even picks off another cav unit. So Stray King having a really strong start here. Needs to make sure to keep carrying it through, getting the castle up, getting some ground units, keep making some units. Has the fire lances coming out, and fire ships being massed up. Needs to not lose too many to the spears. We know spears get the fun little bonus damage against ships. It'll carry over from early days of Civs, or of Age of Empires. And just losing random cav archers. You can't afford to lose the random cav archers. And now the demos are coming out. Yeah, and the demos from these docks that have been completed are going to land some really nice shots. Oh, that's a lot of fire ships dead. And just like that, Nope kind of retakes control of the water. Maybe not control of the water, but is no longer being pressured at their dock. And now the rocket ship's coming out, or the rocket cart is. And a big boom. That's a huge demo, taking out a bunch of rocket cart and a bunch of fire lancers. But we have the turtle ships out. One demo takes out a little less than half of the health of a turtle. So I mean, enough turtles are gathered up, and you might be able to just snipe the demos before they get any damage done. But this is going to be an expensive trade. All right. We actually see Nope being the first one to go towards one of the sides. Starting to be aggressive about the expansions. Whereas a turtle mass is being formed up. And we still have a mix of fires and demos. And those turtle ships are going to cause some pretty significant problems with some maybe some, is there a rocket cart mixed in there? There are some rocket carts mixed in there. So needs to make sure not to avoid these demos that are the fast fires. I mean, it's kind of rough trying to make fast fires when they're so close. The demo's going to land, but these turtle ships have so much HP. You want to start seeing maybe a cannon galleon or two. Do they get cannon galleon? Naval. Droman, no. I assume they get cannon galleon, right? Can't really check. Okay, yeah, they get cannon galleon. So a couple cannon galleons here might be nice just to help take out the docks a little bit faster. And now we're seeing the war wagons mixed in. And Nope is pinned badly at home. These turtle ships really massive. But we see the ships in the docks hopefully going to all pop out at once. But I don't know if there's enough of them being made to be able to pop out and actually do any damage. With fire, especially since they're fires. They're demos. They could just eat a lot of damage here. These are all more fires. He's trying to win water the classic way. And I don't think against all these turtle ships you can really do that. I do not think these demos are going to be enough. These turtles going to continue to destroy these docks, destroy the demos. And it's going to be up to Stray to use this advantage and push into it. Maybe expanding to the right side, get some gold is going to be nice. But, I mean, I think Nope needs to switch to demos and kind of rely on trying to get the heavy demos landing onto those turtle ships. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think turtles are very good against castles. And now the demos are coming out, weakening those turtles now that the turtles are a little bit too far forward. So Stray King needs to be aware that he can't really just throw these turtle ships into the castle. But and there's the Lu Chen's, however you pronounce it. There's some demos as well. Oh no, galleons. They're trying kind of everything to get off of this, to get out of this turtle lock. But Stray King really not taking too much advantage. Nope down to 3 military, but he has access to all this gold. He just kind of has to figure out what he wants to do. He's losing all these units and all these front bases with this massive army. Stray King really massively pushing in with his army, but just no siege. And there is a trebuchet finally coming in. A little late on the siege. If Stray King had pushed with the siege a little bit earlier, he'd probably have won already. And we keep losing. Oh no, there's a Lu Chen. And there's traction trebuchets out to try to deal with the turtle ships. And I mean, looks like they're working pretty decently. Doing some damage here. Now the cannon galleons are out. And these buildings are going to be going down. Turtles are OP because nobody ever remembers what counters them. I mean, assume it's just demos, right? I mean, but now that the Trebs are out and a couple cannon galleons, things are going to be destroyed. And, oh, we got some military coming in, the long swords, taking out all those champions. And they're going to go on to these war wagons, try to take them out. But enough war wagons and turtle ships are there that it probably won't be doing too much damage. It might just be a little bit of a last gasp from Nope, who does have a little bit of an eco lead, but no military and losing water immensely. So he's going to have horrible map control. Oh, sneezed. Sorry. And yeah, once these docks go down, maybe you can try to rebuild them on this west side, but there's just so much navy from Stray King that I don't think any of it is going to be very effective. It's fires, but you can never remember. Demos are probably fine too. When they're that clumped up right next to your docks, there's definitely demos. But yeah, buildings continue to be destroyed. You see the traction trebs trying to run back, and this castle trying to go up, try to save a little bit more, as now the trebuchets aren't there, and the cannon galleon can't reach that castle unless it goes all the way around. But this is not looking good. Stray really trying to push and destroy all these buildings. Destroy whatever eco he has. The traction treb's going forward to do a little bit of a traction treb raid. I mean, they are going to find some damage here. Just because there's nothing at home to defend against it. But I don't think that's... You're going to need a little bit more than a traction treb raid. The castle goes up and does force the units back a little bit. And even though this castle is being damaged, it could go down. Not a lot of damage being done here. We actually do see the cannon galleon, a single one coming over here to try to take care of these pesky little traction traps, and that's going to get wiped up. War wagons going over here to try to figure out what's going on, and we see late fire archers. I assume those have to be pretty solid against the ships, but it's not going to be great against a bunch more war wagons. Since Stray King is up to 100 military. And sending in the champions, sending in some hussars, just kind of throwing whatever. Needs a little bit more siege to kind of take out these buildings and take out these castles. We actually see Nope going for a redock. Nope Nope's losing his expansion over here. Is going to try to maybe redock here, but no. Nope calls, and once his expansion goes down. And Stray King going up 2 games. 2-0. So very well done from Stray. I think the lack of demos at the start let Stray King get his naval army just a little bit too large. And there just wasn't much of a chance for Nope to come back. And then Nope never really challenged Stray King on the ground, which meant Stray King kind of just was able to slow roll through the base. Not the best push from Stray King. Like, he did what he needed to, but I think adding in some siege earlier would have really accelerated this win. But very well done from both of them. More so from Stray King. And that's going to bring it to a 2-0 lead for Stray King. Just to double check. Nope needs, what, 3 wins is what we were saying? No, Stray King needs 3 wins. Oh. So if Stray King wins another one, he knocks out Breezeland for the playoffs. So Nope needs to do a 3-0 or a 2-0 comeback and win the next 3 to keep Breezeland in the playoffs. Stray King needs 1 more to clutch the spot, I assume, right? I think that's how it works. So the next map is going to be, so we can actually turn this and do Koreans win and the Woo death. Next map is going to be Sunburn. So we're going to be seeing probably a quick one. Sunburn, probably Goth spam or Conditario spam. And then Malians maybe for elephants, right? Who are we thinking for Nope? Malians get elephants, right? Or am I just completely forgetting what Malians actually do? They get Tigui and Farimba. They don't get elephants. Yeah, I'm just reading, but they get the Tigui Cavalier, which is really strong. Or the Farimba, not the Tigui. They have fast camels, so we could see that. But against, like, I could see Goths being here. Especially with Nope liking the gunpowder, or Stray King liking gunpowder. I mean, fast infantry spam with some gunpowder mixed in on this tiny map could be pretty solid. Glad you could join us, Bezzy, or Beezy. And then, yeah, I don't know if there's any, like, rushdown civs here, right, for Nope. Like, all more, maybe Teutons, just Teutons to expect the Goths, like, you just spam, ETKs and, gunpowder yourself. But, I mean, it's just so hard to deal with the speed of the Goths. It's such a small map, right? Gajars are pretty good on Sunburn if you play them right. Is that what makes Gajaros so good on Sunburn? What's kind of their super fast strat? Is that the Chakrams, which could be good? But you need castles. Camel riders, they have elephant archers, so you could just get a bunch of chonky boys. And they do get faster camel and elephants. Oh, I see. Camels and elephants train faster. Yeah, so you can just go very fast camels. Or very fast elephants and go for that. That might be the play then. Fast elephants, especially since it's so short that the elephants don't have to walk far. So I can definitely see that. I think I like that. I like that. So I'm gonna guess Goths versus Gujaras. All right, let's load into this next one. Burmese versus Goth. So it's gonna be the Burmese. Interesting. I don't think the Burmese was on my list of expected civs. Let's double check that I remind myself. The Burmese have the Arenbai, right? Yeah. I mean, they get elephants. So that's pretty solid. Infantry have better attack. Waves of halbs into elephants. Yeah. So Bulgarians get the... No. What am I trying to... Byzantines... I'm trying to remember something. Who is the civ that gets the food longbows? Or the food only, the trash swords, right? It's a Malay. Yes. Okay. Force Levy. It's the Malay. Okay, Malay longswords. That's the one I'm thinking of. Why go Ellie's when you can just go +2 attack champs? True. Burmese champs would be good if King wasn't going to go 60 hand cannons. Yeah. All right. Switch over. All right. Up 2-0. One more win gets him into the playoffs. We have the Stray King in yellow. And to his south, in the blue, is Nope playing the Burmese. All right. Right away, we see the scouts passing by. And infantry coming out for the Goths, obviously. Immediately going 3 builders on a single barracks. Got to get that up immediately. And is going to find a kill. Stray King really good at finding this early eco kill and delaying, and all villagers are in the TC. Delays them so much. So we will see how this ends up. We see Halberdier spam coming out for Nope. And Halberdiers as well, but there are the Huskarls. This will just be infantry spam from the Goths player. It's going to be a non-stop flood, and that early delay needs to get the buildings up in a protective circle. But with Arson, the Goths are going to be so dangerous. And I mean, the Huskers are just going to chew through these Halberdiers. We need to see champions out, and there's a champion starting to be queued up. But not early enough. I think making Halberdiers right at the start is a mistake. These Huskarls are now in. And once again, some villagers are idling. And that's kind of one of the biggest problems is you lose a little bit of that early time. And it's just going to delay your production. And now the Goth spam is just endless. I think Stray King's already won this. It's going to be so tough to get... You need to get these champions out. I mean, Stray King needs to add some champions of his own. Which look what he's doing to try to counter the champions. But this is such a strong start from Stray King. You can see the military count's already tripled. so early. Like, champions are really strong, but when there's 3 times as many Goth infantry, right now Stray King just needs more and more houses. But yeah, he's kind of cleaned up that immediate army from Nope, and I think Stray King's just going to take this. Villagers are down. Villagers are dying left and right. Nope has no military, and there's too much Goth in his face. The Goth Swarm wins again. He's just going to go straight for the TC. Yeah. At this point, you can just probably, like, all queue them into the TC and just take it all down. Let's see, we got elephants coming in a little bit too late. You need to probably pop them out now. I think you missed your chance. Now the TC's down. That's huge loss. Stray King's still getting housed, but has twice, almost 3 times the population. Champions popping out. Elephants need to pop out as well. There's the elephants. I mean, he might be able to clear this up, but he's taken so much damage, and Stray King's gotten such a huge lead. Stray King immediately needs to start switching to some eco and just really making it so that he can't lose this game. But, I mean, this military lead is just so massive for Stray King. The Goth spam is just insane. I mean, he's losing some units. The elephants are doing some damage here, but more and more production buildings go down. We see the very southern expansions trying to go up in the attempt to be safe. And we actually have fast forward on. Turn that off, that's my bad. But, yeah, once all these elephants get swarmed, adding in the halberdiers, easy enough switch. The castle goes up on the resources. Nope's out of military. Nope's out of hope. Nope's out of villagers. This is just clinical Goth rush. This is Sunburn. You're 100% right. And with that, I am sorry to report, and very pleased to report, Stray King, I believe, has now made the playoffs, and Bristlin has been knocked out with a Goth rush on Sunburn. The rare Goth win. What was needed at the right time. Goths don't win very often, but when they do, they win hard. Very impressive from Stray King. And that is a very, very tough, matchup at this level. Deuce, that was Sunburn. What have you got? So what do we have next? That was very well done from Stray King. Very well practiced. And unfortunately, I think, I don't even know if, like, you go elephants first. I mean, I think the halberdiers were a mistake. I think not starting immediately with champions was definitely a mistake. If he had added those champions before the halberdiers, might have had a few better engagements right at the start, which, you know, the Goth Snowball is a classic. So that might have been a issue that he could have been better. BZ King have looked so good this season. Definitely deserve the promotions. Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. I mean, BZ, we were just talking about it. It was like, you lost 4 maps to 16. It's crazy. That's really well done. 2 5-0s is huge. And 3 2s against Bristlin and Stray King. So, Outcrop, what's left? I mean, I expect Britain's on Outcrop. And then maybe Portuguese or Italians for Hyper Random. I could see, let's see, we got those guys dead. Oh, it wasn't Gujaras. Never mind. I could see Gujaras versus Britons. Maybe Teutons. No, Teutons on Outcrop seems wrong. Teutons are probably going to be hyper random, if I had to guess. Betting on you to win Div 9 next season, too. Don't tell anyone. Ooh. A little bit of AoE2 bets, eh? What are people thinking of, thinking about the civs for Outcrop? Do we feel Britain's are going to be saved for hyper random, or do we think it's going to be Britain's? I don't think Britain's, you'd want to play Britain's on hyper random in case the map is like too like slow or too wide or something. I don't think you want to risk losing the ability to just play a standard game with the Britons. Whereas Italians and Portuguese, I feel like in case it's a water map, you have two water like hybrid civs that are decent. Like I could see Italians being safe for hyper random and Britons going here. Malians I could see for the hyper random. Tunes I could see for this. The Tunes against Britain seems pretty brutal. I don't think that's a very good matchup for the Tunes. So I see Gujara's being picked here. That's my guess. It's Gujara's Britons. And looks like they're starting. Oh. I always forget. It bothers me so much that the actual, I know it's like 21-year-old code base, but I feel like they should just spend an entire expansion making the like actual spectator and the lobby system actually decent, right? I think they should. There's so much room for improvement here. Gujar's Britons. Hey, maybe I'm starting to relearn the game. Maybe I'm starting to learn a few things. I mean, granted, there's not many options, and also we know how Stray King loves Britons. So, not the hardest thing to call. Britons are ironically the more meta water civ in DIM or in DM. I guess that makes sense. Yeah. But let's get underway. Now I'm hoping for Nope to be able to take a game or two. Now that the playoffs have been set, I want Nope to be able to show us his stuff. So in the yellow, up 3-0, securing a spot in the playoffs, playing the Britons is the Stray King, and in the blue, we got Nope playing the Gujaras. So Nope once again keeping the camel at home, not wanting to send that camel forward too much. Doesn't want to lose the villagers like he has been this entire time. Luckily with the Britons only having a light cav, the camel should be able to take out the villagers, or take it out before any villagers get taken out. So for the first time, Stray King does not find a villager pick, meaning that Nope can actually have a rather uncontested start, which is nice. So right away we see Halberdiers being the choice for Stray King. We'll see an archer range go up. So we're just going to see Arbalest. We're not even going to see him try to get the castle up to spy on longbows. Maybe that'll be a transition later. But the Arbalests are going to be the play to start out. And we see Shravamsa Riders. So Shravamsa's probably not going to be doing too great against Halberdiers. Like the berry bush skin. Oh, that is a skin. I keep forgetting that that's the actual skin that I have. Yeah, so Shravamsa is going to try to get some picks here. Going to come in and rush. The Halberdiers up front, a little bit unable to defend. A few more trying to go back here. And they are going to maybe find a quick wall. Good quick wall. But a few villagers are left exposed. One down. Only one goes down so far, so the Shravamsas are going to dip out. But it does find another pick at the front of the base as their attention was distracted elsewhere. But a pretty solid defense from Stray King, who for the first time is on the defense. 3 villager picks is nice for Nope, though. Gets a nice little early eco advantage and doesn't have to worry about any aggression early on. Gets a castle up, gets the shotgun throws out to deal with some of those Halberdiers. And we see the archer ranges come up shortly. And the elephant archers coming out. So now it's going to be a question of what is Nope's transition into the mid game. How much is he going to push? Is he going to be able to do damage before Stray King gets his Britain Death Ball up and starts getting the archers and Arbalests really established? Looks like the Shravamsas are just going to be camping the sides, making sure any expansion from the Stray King isn't free. But Stray King doesn't look like he's trying to worry about anything like that. We actually see a nice little outpost here, just to maybe protect against a little bit of raids. Not the worst idea to get that vision. Yeah, I wish he was a little bit more aggressive, like if he kept applying some pressure in some way. Does need to add some siege of some sort, whether he and also getting pop housed. So houses kind of being placed all over the place is not really. It'll lead you to getting capped a lot more than you think. But this has given the Britons time to mass up their army. So even with that early kill, Stray King already, and I mean also with the TC idle time. So Stray King, with that housing popped, is going to find, but oh, Stray King finds those wandering, I assume they'd probably kill the villager, seeing as the Eco KD is now at 4. So, Stray King managing to clean up those Shrivamsos does take out one villager, so delays this or little expansion over here, which isn't the worst. I don't know if the Shrivamsos were going to be doing too much, but against an Archer Civ like the Brins, you probably want to keep them. Kind of good to unhouse yourself by losing the Shrivamsos. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see these Shrivamsos be used a little bit more aggressively. Like, you could go pick off 4 villagers here. That'd be huge. Go pick off all these, like... The Brins are slow, right? So you can easily raid around them. But it looks like Nope's going to be the one to engage, but Nope has no siege. You've got to add some trebuchets to make the push actually do something. That's a lot of tanky boys. That's a lot of meat there on the bones. Halberdiers are here as well, but they're going to start pulling back. And we have the Shrivamsos ready to pounce in and flank. It's going to be a question of how is the micro as the forces come in. The Shrivamsos do have to pull back a little bit. The Elephants do get a nice little choke point, so they can't get a surround from the Halberdiers. So the Elephant Archers are going to have a nice little thing, and some Chakrams here as well to deal with this. And this is nice by Nope, drawing them away, doing some solid micro. But oh, we got the Onager coming in, taking a nice shot on these Elephant Archers. Elephant Archers do not realize are taking a lot of shots from the extra range and from the Onagers. So Nope was doing a very good job. Shrivamsos just diving, trying to snipe that siege, which is all get destroyed. That is a waste of Shrivamsa Riders. They're not the most useful unit here, but absolutely don't want to just throw them away like that. The Elephants slowly dying to the Archers, but also taking out a lot of the Halberdiers. Now the Bomber Cannon on the side, in kind of a bad spot. The Archers are going to snipe it, and this is where the danger of the Brins Death Ball starts to appear. They just kind of outrange everything. The Halberdiers are going to be able to slowly get onto those Elephants. And with the Onagers coming to mix in to try to weaken those Elephants, it's going to be tough. But Nope does have some good expansions on the side. Worried about the Eco, making it nice and ready for the late game. But here's the Shrivamsa Riders sniping some of that siege that went too far forward. Very good engagement, and the Elephants are going to clean up some of these Halbs. So good engagement from Nope, and Nope is viewing himself at a higher pop count, both in military and in Eco. The Arbalests continue to pose problems. The Onager continue to land some shots on these Elephants. The Elephants losing a lot of HP. But the Shrivamsas try to come in here again, and they're going to get poked as they run by. Do snipe the Onager, so that's nice. And now there's not a lot of Halberdiers, so these Shrivamsas kind of can run in and try to deal with these Archers. They get melted, but the Elephants pushing forward. And again, the Bomber Cannon's finally starting to show up, some Trebs adding to the mix, and they can actually start pressuring this, enforcing a response out of Stray King more than he's already doing, which is just kind of waddling back and forth with the Archers. So one building goes down, and a lot of Elephants are still up. Nope needs to start replenishing some of his numbers, needs to replenish some meat shields. These Archers getting so many kills with their long range, not really taking too much damage from themselves. And, you know, the accurate trebuchets from the Brins also being able to counter the Treb push. But with the Bombards there, they're able to maybe do it. This is where you need some longbows to be able to snipe the Bombard cannons. But the Bombards and Trebs are going to start pressuring some of these buildings. The Elephants continue to hold firm and try to trade with these Archers. And the Halberdiers never really getting a chance to engage. But this is a lot of military from Stray King and not a lot of reinforcements from Nope. Nope now down on the military numbers and needs probably pull the Elephants back. He's losing too many of them. Elephant numbers are down to 20. Needs to kind of replenish the army. And I don't know where the army is for Nope. He has kind of lost his queue. Has all these resources, but nothing in the queue. No military being queued up. No reinforcements inbound. Worried too much about microing. And I guess I missed some BBC shots. I assume there's no trebuchets left, so probably some really solid micro on that side for Nope. And now here's the production coming in for Nope. But I mean, a little bit too little, too late. So worried too much about the micro and just is going to lose his forces because he didn't have the reinforcements, and Stray King is going to have a chance to push forward. Has expansion over here. No expansion was stopped by Nope, nor on this side. Does have a nice raid here with some shotgun throws. Not the most efficient raid, but getting a few kills here. Good reaction from Stray King, and they are standing under a castle, so they are going to die, so it's a little bit of a waste of shotgun throwers. And yeah, Nope's been pushed back. Did get a few buildings, got a castle, got a bunch of gold units, but like, I don't think that was enough of damage that Nope needed to really deal with this Britain Deathball. And now the Deathball is even transitioned more into longbows, which are going to be so hard to engage. We need to see some either, I don't think it's siege elephants or rams, but we need to see one or the other try to soak up some of this fire. There's not a lot of halberdiers here. I mean, there are some down here, actually. I take it back. And some villagers go forward to try to build a castle. It's not going to happen. So we'll see if any action happens on the sides, but for now, all of it is happening in the middle. Warwolf Trebs getting some shots onto these siege, and yeah, these longbows just melting these elephants that are just being thrown away and rally pointed forward. So very sloppy mid-game, unfortunately, from Nope. And now the Trebs are coming forward, the longbows protecting. Stray King has his fully popped army, and is queuing up in the queue, has all these resources, going to be able to expand, worry about expansions. I'd love to see him expand on the right side, and there he goes, gets a castle over here. Now that he's pop capped and has control of the map, can actually start establishing map control, start establishing an eco. We even see capped rams from Stray King to try to push some of these buildings faster. Fortunately, the Shravamsa Riders going to do a pretty good job at taking one of them and chasing the back, but the Halberdiers chase the Shravamsa's array. There's just not a lot of military from Nope. I don't think Nope's going to be able to survive. Oh, the longbowmen are going too far forward. Okay, they get pulled back. Lose a few of them. Shravamsa is able to pick a few of them away. Need to get the Halberdiers. All the Halberdiers have disappeared. Where did all the Halberdiers go? And I mean, okay, there's some Halberdiers. Hussar's going to go snipe a Treb. But these longbows are unguarded. If the elephants choose now to go push into the longbowmen, they could get some of these longbows down. And granted, he has so much reserves. And now they're engaging. No halberdiers here. The halberdiers coming in now, but the hussars are here to meet them. And longbowmen are forced to micro back a little bit. And the elephant number is whittling down and down to 30 military. Nope, not really having the reinforcements to continue surviving this push. Stray King continuing to push forward with halberdiers. Needs to use some more gold. And there's 25 more longbowmen queued up. Needs to get some more trebs out there. Needs to get some more siege. But Stray King making it happen with the Britons, pushing forward and getting the damage he needs to. See if that castle can stay up. I mean, only one trebuchet pushing, so that's going to be hard for Stray King to make too much damage happen. But I mean, with the military counts, he can kind of just pick and choose a fight. Is getting the economy set up in the south side as well. Has the economy on the left side, which is doing farm economy here, which is a little bit aggressive. Castles are in range of each other, so we're going to be seeing a slow whittling here. Love to see a Treb out of one of them. Stray King did just put up this castle, so I feel like he should know that he should throw a trebuchet here, just to take out this castle and then be able to raid that side. But all the action's happening in the middle, and Stray King still massively massively lead in the military, and just Nope just hasn't had an answer for these longbows, which is it's a tough thing to fight. We don't see any rams or anything like that to go try to soak up the fire. And instead, the longbows are just having the freedom to just rain arrows onto these elephants, stick them full of arrows. A nice little hussar raid in the back, maybe trying to find a Treb or two, but the halberdiers are there to protect it. And yeah, the eco balance looking really smooth. A lot of wood, a lot of good amount of gold, and enough food to keep supplying. And has the resource bank. And Nope is out of food. The elephant's costing a lot, throwing them all away. Just can't max up an army that he needs to be able to contest this. Longbow's getting so much value. 93 kills from these longbows. Hussar's going to come in here and try to take out the trebuchets. And I don't know what the problem is. That trebuchet stayed up so long. Oh, there's a second trebuchet. So, but yeah, castle goes down, and now the front of the base, pretty much the entire base, is completely exposed. Britain's, of course, not probably going to be doing any raiding anytime soon, but it allows the Trebs to push forward. Shravamsa are able to dodge a lot of these arrows, but not enough. We still see a longbow plus a... Okay, now the trebuchet is coming out. Trebuchet is on the side, so both of them paying attention to the sides. We do love to see that. But, I mean, Stray King can lose a side and probably will win the game still. The longbow, the Britain push. Just nothing really being done to counter it. Elephant archers, unfortunately, aren't the answer. They're not terrible, but you need something else to deal with these longbows. And unfortunately, he doesn't have the resources to make anything that'll be able to deal with them. And these longbows going to continue to fire in the air and just completely decimate the army of Nope. And now the trebuchets are coming out. They had to bring King had to bring a few over here to help deal with this. Warwolf's gonna be able to snipe these trebs. Unfortunately, due to the being pop capped, which is a good problem to have, the trebuchets weren't able to come out to counter snipe. And, oh, only one trebuchet is microed onto the other trebuchet. You need both of them firing on the trebs, not the castle. So this castle does go down from striking. So unfortunate slop, a little mistake there from striking. But now, Nope taking a page out of the top layer's books and trying to send these Hussars in for a raid. Draw some units around. No, he's just going to try to flank with the Hussars. And striking wisely, just having some guards at these trebuchets. And so Hussars are going to be forced to run away. They are going to go for a raid on the side, but there's another castle to be able to deal with this. And, I mean, the dude maybe snipe a treb. Nope, this treb stays alive. Nope's expansion is going to go down. And these longbows continue to push. Another castle goes down. And we're just watching a slow drain of the life from Stray King. And I think with this, unfortunately, that means Nope's not going to be able to take over the spot he needs to in the... Which I think he was already out, so he's going to probably end at 5th. But he has one more game. I'd love to see him take the game. It is going to be hyper-random, so he has a chance. But this is very well done from Stray King. Very good start. Yes, yeah. Stray King officially got the promotion after he won his 3rd one. He needed to win 3 games. That was the criteria. Nope needed to get 4 points. So Nope needed to win 3 to get up past. I don't know what the rules are for up and down stuff because I'm not too familiar with it. But we can go to intermission real quick. We can actually, I was looking at this. So real quick, we have the Britons and the Gujaras. Last map's going to be hyper random. So yeah, if we look at this, Nope needed 4 points to tie, and then oh no, he would have needed all 5, I think, to win the tiebreak. So unfortunate, but yeah, Stray King needed 3 points total. Even, I mean, he was only ever going to get 2 or 4. He needed 2, and then I think he actually won that. So he just needed to win 2. Yeah. So, pretty hard for him not to make the playoffs, especially with how well he's playing today. So, good for Stray King into the promotions. Usually King would fight for promotion as number 2, but not sure he'll have anyone to fight against from Div 9. Is that, is it like they both have to play someone in Div 9 to move up or something? I'm not too sure how promotions work. So, we have at least 1 DQ. Clean hasn't played, is probably going to get DQ'd, I assume. So they might just get automatically up, is what I'm hearing. Essentially, they'll get DQs to move up. Interesting. Okay, I like that. So it is, okay, it's like European soccer leagues with relegation and stuff. Gotcha. I mean, actually, T90 does that too, right? In T90, whatever league that is. I think Div 9 should merge right now. Yeah, I do like the 5 because you can do round robins, but with how like attendance is and how difficult it can be, I could see divs being merged together. It is just a question of how many people actually sign up, right? If Div 9, if Clean matches play all, we can get the promotion playoff. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, it's the unfortunate thing of just not enough. Like you have people drop out when there's 5 people, and it's kind of throws a wrench in everything. I know one of the other divisions was it Div 3, where 2 people dropped. No, spoiler warning. I'm just gonna click through this real quick. Close your eyes. Yeah, it was Div 6. They all played like super early, and then there's just DQs. So it's super unfortunate, but that's kind of how it goes when you have so few people in each division. So, but yeah, what are we feeling for? Clean didn't even really play his 1 set. Oof. We all need to hope Clean play. Yeah. What are we feeling for hyper random? Italians versus Teutons. Italians versus Malians. Div 8, we were waiting for Omer and Eisen. Match decided second place. Because Griffin, you're Div 8, right? So we can look at this. We got a few matches that are waiting. I mean, Refraid, I assume, is going to get a DQ at this point, right? Eisen has played recently. We'll probably play again, but Waiting for Omer versus Aizen. Oh, I see. Yeah, because if Omer gets there, wow, Griffin, you really destroyed this division. That's crazy. Way more DQs than this season than last. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Um, yeah, there's really not much you can say about it. It's just super unfortunate. Only thing I can say though is that we do have the match starting. Final match of. All right, Teuton's Portuguese. I believe this is the final match of Div 10. Yep, so this is going to be the final match of Div 10. The settings are all pretty much set. This is just for bragging rights. I'd love to see. I know there's a bunch of Stray King fans in the chat, but I would love to see Nope be able to pull one out. I always love to see. I don't like 5-0s unless it's somebody I'm rooting for, but even then, I want to see. I want to see players get some wins. Always good to see a few people get some wins. So, hope your lunch is going to be good, Lunatic. I need to go grocery shopping. I've been eating delivery for like 5 days. I need to go to the grocery store and actually make food. I was looking at like the food I had as options tonight, and I was like, I want just like a very basic meal, and you can't just get a basic meal from delivery. So, anyways, we got 10 seconds to go for the final Div 10 match. Bring up Capture Age. End with a great division with a great hyper random. Yeah, I hope for a crazy map. Like now that the set's decided, because like a crazy hyper random map on game 5 when it matters is, oh, we got a water map. All right, in the yellow, trying to get a 5-0 is Stray King playing the Portuguese, and in the blue is Nope with the Teutons, and we start with a Sogdian Cataphract. Interesting. And it's very heavy water map, a lot of fish, quite a bit of gold scattered around, some berry bushes here and there. But we're going to be seeing some hills and water, so I could be seeing some docks. We'll see who goes for the first dock. And maybe some demos. Which Civ gets demos? I mean, we'll look at the demos in a second. But the hero's going to fight with under the TC, so Stray King's at least buying some idle time with some villagers in the TC. Teutons do get demo ships. Portuguese do get demo ships. So we'll see if either of them realize that they can build docks and just spam demos. Actually, I'm assuming the water can be docked, right? Can it not? Or do you have to dock out here? But Paladin's gonna try to find some kills. But Halberdiers are there to protect against it. Teuton Paladins gonna run haste first. And they're actually really close. I didn't realize how close they are. Can be docked, but mainly only from the solid land. That's true. I have to imagine one of them have tried to dock at this point, right? Like, maybe they're too set on their ways and don't realize, like, don't really think about it, but... This is Teutons, yeah. Oh, this is going to be a rough engagement. That's a lot of Halberdiers, but the Paladins are there to clean up, and we have Scorpions as well, so it's going to be a nice cleanup from Nope, who gets housed again. Nope, definitely struggling to keep the houses up. Sending so many villagers to build a castle. I mean, the castle helped with that. But sending so many villagers to build production buildings and then just doesn't have the housing to deal with it. But Nope is pushing forward with these Scorpions and these Paladins. We see some archers coming out for the Portuguese. Some Halberdiers as well. Maybe some gunpowder mixed in. And it's going to be a question of can Stray King hold on from this initial push? And we've seen, okay, the trebuchets are coming out right away from Nope. So we love to see that. And the bomber cannons. Siege immediately coming out for Nope, which is one of the problems he had when he pushed into the Britons last game. Did not have much siege to be able to push in at the early victories. We actually see this TC really far forward. That is a very aggressive TC in the weirdest way. TC in the back would have been so much better. Still no docks. So it's going to be a traditional game despite all the water. And these Paladins are going to run right into that waiting arms of these Halberdiers, and this is such a bad engagement. Such a bad fight. I mean, he's going to win it, but at what cost? Nope, patrolling in and losing so many Paladins. He did not have to take that fight. Loses one of the Scorpions. And is forced to pull back. And now the Bombard Micro is going to be in play. The Bombard Cannon is doing very well from Stray King. And Stray King now has a military lead. I was looking so good for Nope, but Nope looks away and just patrols forward with the Paladins. They get melted by the Halberdiers. Alright. Now the Halberdier is going forward, and there's only one Scorpion to help defend him. Siege Andra is up to help deal with this, but they're going to find some nice picks here. And the Arbalests from the Italian player continue to rain shots down, and the Paladins coming forward even more, trying to get some Treb Wars. Villagers repairing the castle. And this is just going to be a fist fight here. I don't think any player interested in trying to do anything crazy with some expansions or anything. It's going to be kind of decided very quickly. There's a nice hill for the Bomber Cannons. That's going to be a very nice bonus here. But the Arbalest starting to melt the Bomber Cannons. You went a little bit too far forward, but the castle does go down. So the deaths aren't in vain, but they are forcing the units of Nope back, and Nope is down. A lot of military. The shot lands, takes a lot of HP off the archers, and takes a lot of them down. But those archers do snipe the SO, and there's not a lot of military for Nope. Good archer micro from Stray King, microing back to avoid the Paladins. Those Paladins are all going down, and Nope, having looking like he had such a great position. Just a solid micro from Stray King, and losing all those Paladins in one rush means that his army is completely gone down to 0 military and only 130 on gold, 130 gold in the bank. He spent it all on the Paladins that got melted by the Halberdiers. No trash units, and it's just not looking good. I don't know what trash unit could have gone, but like even just adding in some Halberdiers or even some like basic skirms could have helped here. But no gold in the bank for Nope, and the castle's going to go down, and this eco that's very up front is going to get destroyed by the Italian army. And we see Stray King expanding, and Nope has to tap out pretty quickly. Unfortunate. I was hoping for Nope, but we can check real quick where it all went downhill. In the early fights, he was looking pretty solid. He had a nice Paladin army. Looking pretty solid, took a few good engagements at the start. And it was just right here, yeah. He runs forward, you can go back just a second or two. He has 33 Paladins, right? 33 Paladins, runs forward into the waiting arms. And it's not the worst engagement, but he loses half of his Paladins. More than half. He loses a third of his Paladins. He loses 3/4 of his Paladins for Halberdiers. You're gonna lose that. That's all your gold units. So that's unfortunate. I was hoping Nope was gonna be able to take that one. He looked like he was doing a really good job pushing forward, having the siege, doing everything correct, but one small little mistake there, and then nothing really to follow it up. No trash units to supplant it. And unfortunately isn't able to make it, so GG's from me. Stray King taking the 5-0 and ending the question of who's going to be able to fight for promotion. So Stray King is going to move into second place with a full 6 points at 17 points final. Nope ends at 5th with 3rd. Dysfunctional at 7. Brizzlin in 3rd with 13 points. And BZ at 1st with 20 points. More castles count to the Bomber Cannons would have been nice too. Yeah, I suppose, yeah. Teuton castles are pretty good about that with the extra range. They get, what, 13 range total? No. Is it 13 range? Or is it 10 range? Might be 13. But yeah, GG's to all. That was a fun little game, or a fun little set. Stray King definitely showing that he deserves a chance at promotion for sure. He played really well that one, and held on in the few times he needed to, and when he had the advantage.